I don't know, I lost them.
Bad marketing right there.
Okay, we are live. Just make sure we're centered. So we're gonna get started in the next 3 minutes, precisely. So you can get ready by coming to your mat, grabbing any props that you might use. So in this class, either a block might be useful. So yoga block, if you don't have any yoga blocks, then anything that's like hard and that you can put some weight on, like maybe a really thick book could replace a block. Or like a box of puzzles too. Maybe you have some of those lying around the house.
Or working.
And what else? A bolster. We're gonna start sitting on the floor. So sometimes it's helpful on something like a bolster or a cushion if you're a little bit more uncomfortable sitting on the floor. The 2 props that you can start to get ready while we get started. We still have a couple more minutes. Yeah. And you can start making your way to your mat to a comfortable seated position. And we will get started very soon. So today, just to give you a little bit of an introduction, my name is Monica, and this is my sister Alexis. She'll be my model for today. And in today's class, I thought I would go through some of the standing postures and some of the seated postures in Ashtanga Yoga, which is my main practice, and look at different pieces to help us build up to Urdhva Dhanurasana, which is the wheel pose, that back bending pose, where you're on your feet and your arm in your hands. So it's one of the most basic back bending postures, but there's a lot of different things happening in order to make that happen. So a lot of different physical things that we need to figure out in our bodies. So I will break each of those pieces down one at a time throughout the class, and then we'll bring it all together at the end to give that posture a try. It's a hard posture, so I'll also offer some variations and modifications if you can't access it. So like, for example, today, Alexis mentioned that her lower back was hurting, which I thought was a really good opportunity to address that issue because it's so common. Especially when you first start doing yoga and you start moving into the spine, some compression can start to happen in the lower back. So I will address that throughout the class and offer modifications specifically for lower back pain. If you have any other specific things that come up, you can always ask me during the class or at the end of the class. There's a chat. You can ask me any questions or you can reach out to me separately and I can address your specific issues and give you some modifications for those. But I thought hers was really good because it's common. And your lower back doesn't need to hurt. We just need to adapt the practice so that you don't move into too much compression into the lower back. Okay, so we're gonna get started. First, we'll start in a comfortable seated position. And I wanted to start with just a quick, super quick meditation of tuning into the body and then some breathing exercises for 2 reasons, because meditation helps us to make the mind more precise, which is super useful in back bending. It's deep. Back bendings kind of take us out of our comfort zone. So if we're not really focused and our minds aren't precise, then it gets really hard when we don't fully go into the posture. And then breathing, we're going to do some breathing that helps us to soothe the nervous system. Back bends kind of start to aggravate the nervous system a little bit and start to like activate it. So having some tools of breathing exercises that help us to calm the nervous system is really useful when it comes to a back bending practice. So we'll come to a comfortable seated position, and like I mentioned before, you can use a bolster or cushion to sit on to elevate the hips if sitting on the floor is uncomfortable, or you can sit on a chair. If not, sitting directly on the floor is always an option, but your hips need to be a little bit open in order to sit directly on the floor. You can also prop up the knees. If the knees are hiked up, you can prop something underneath the knees so that you don't start to go into the knee joints if you have that limitation in the hip joints. So once you find that comfortable seated position, you can bring the hands to the knees and gently close the eyes. And just take a moment here to Acknowledge the shift to the tension. So before this, you were doing something and your attention was focused outwards. Just take a moment to acknowledge the shift of turning your attention inwards. Just coming into the body, feeling the body, and coming into the breath. Just watching the natural breath as it moves in and out through the nostrils. And use this as a way to check in with yourself. How does the body feel today? Is it heavy or light? Do you feel like you have a lot of energy or a little bit of energy? Is there anywhere that there's a lot of tension that's particularly calling your attention? Just bringing your attention there. Just checking in with the natural state of the body as it is right now without trying to change it. Just observing. And the breath is a really good indicator of our state. So when we're calm, our breath tends to be a little bit deeper and smoother. When we're more emotional or agitated, the breath gets shorter and not as rhythmic. Just coming into the natural breath and noticing what the breath is like today, how it's moving in and out through the body, what the pace is like. As the mind wanders, just gently bring it back to the breath, back into the body. Keeping the attention in one point. So by establishing the pattern of bringing the attention back to the breath, we strengthen our ability to come back to the present moment, which is super useful in backbending. So when we start to do something difficult, then our minds want to escape, and we go and we focus our attention outwards. And this ends up making the journey of backbending a lot more difficult and maybe not as safe, or maybe not reaching your potential in the backbend. So establishing that pattern of being able to bring the mind back to the breath in any moment is super useful in backbending, but also like when anything gets difficult in our lives. So as the mind wanders, bringing it back into the body, into the breath. Now we'll start to come into more of a breathing practice. So moving away from the natural breathing into a more controlled, slow and deep breathing. So on your own, see if you can start to find a lengthened and a deepened breath. So taking deeper breaths in and slow breaths out. So you're controlling how quickly you allow the breath to come in through the inhale and let it out through the exhale. Try to slow down this process. So taking it in little by little and letting it out little by little. So controlling the inhales and the exhales. Now, so deepening the breath. So taking more breath in. If you're familiar with Ujjayi breathing, you can start using your Ujjayi breath. That also helps to slow down and lengthen the breath. If you're not familiar, then it's okay. Just make the breaths active and forceful. So it's a stronger breath, and you start to maybe hear it, maybe it becomes more audible. Good, keep going like that. And next I'm going to take you into a breathing practice that's specifically good for relaxing the nervous system, which is with a longer exhale than the inhale. So as we lengthen the exhale is what's activating our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our relaxation response. It's like the rest and digest part of our nervous system. So our exhales are connected to that part of our nervous system. So by lengthening the exhale, we soothe the nervous system. So we'll exhale, completely emptying the lungs, and we'll do a few breaths together. We'll inhale for 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1. Deep breath in. Exhale, slowly let the breath come out. Slower than when it came in. Again, inhale, deep breath in. Completely fill the lungs. Exhale, slowly let it out, little by little. Keeping the body relaxed. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Feel as the whole body relaxes throughout the exhale. And we'll bring the palms to heart center. We'll start with an Om together. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, hands back down to the knees and gently open the eyes. Good. So to prepare the body for backbending, or also after backbending, if the nervous system is super agitated, you go into that breathing. Longer exhales and inhales, maybe twice as long exhales and the inhales. Or at any moment in your day, if you're feeling angry or you're feeling like really emotional, that breathing exercise is super useful. So we'll get started by standing on our mats. Come to the top of the mat. We'll start in Samastitihi. Good. And we'll just take a moment here in Samastitihi to, again, come into the body and come into the breath. So this coming into the body is really important, especially when we start going into deeper postures. Because if we come out of our bodies and we start thinking about other things, then we have the opportunity to injure ourselves, and also we miss out on the potential of where we can go. So coming into the body, and bringing your attention to the bottom of the feet. So feeling the weight of the body move down through the feet, and coming into that sense of grounding. Good. And establishing a strong foundation. So we need really strong legs for backbending, which means we need to establish strong foundations in all of the standing postures. So engaging through the quads as you keep allowing the weight of the body to move down through the feet. And then lifting and relaxing up through the torso, reaching the crown of the head up towards the sky or ceiling, and relaxing the shoulders down the back. So as you're pressing down and rooting down through those strong legs, you're lengthening through the spine and just relaxing all the muscles along the spine, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the neck, let the neck be free, relaxing all the muscles in the face. Good. Now we'll start moving with Surya Namaskar A. So we're going to take this first one step by step so we can point out all the different pieces in Surya Namaskar A that are going to be useful for us in our backbending posture. So first, we inhale the arms over your head. So here we want to come into an external rotation with the shoulders, reaching the arms over your head, and then exhale, just bring the hands back down to the side. So breaking down that external rotation in the arms, we want to bring the arms forward, like at a diagonal, and point the hands up. Palms are pointing up towards the ceiling, and the pinkies are in towards the center. So this is what's bringing our shoulders into an external rotation. When we come into internal rotation, the arms look like that. External rotation. So external rotation is really important because when we're doing Urdhva Dhanurasana, which is with our arms over your head, you're in the back bend, then your shoulders need to be externally rotated. When your arms over your head and they're internally rotated and you start to put pressure, then we can go into a shoulder injury and we won't access the upper spine. So the external rotation in our shoulders is super important in Urdhva Dhanurasana, or the wheel pose. So that being said, really establish the pattern of external rotation here from the very beginning. So the body knows what to do when it's in a more difficult position with the arms over the head and there's weight on the hands. We establish the pattern here where it's a little bit more simple. So inhale, palms facing up, find the shoulders, the arms rotating externally in the shoulder joints, and reach the arms over your head. And now the elbows are moving towards each other and you're gazing up towards the spine and you keep rolling the shoulders away from the ears. If you need to bend the elbows a little bit to reach the arms over your head because you have tightness in the shoulders, that's totally okay. Exhale, bring the hands back down to the side. Good. Let's do that one more time. Really feeling how the shoulders are rotating in the shoulders and how that kind of gives you more space to lift the arms. Because when you're internally rotating, then you kind of crash the shoulder into the ear. So this external rotation gives more space through the shoulders and through the upper back to reach up the arms over your head. Okay, inhale, arms over your head, roll the shoulders away. Good. Now we'll keep moving. Exhale, bring the hands down to the floor. You can bend the knees here a little bit if you need to, and relax the neck. So Alexis was having lower back pain, so it's super useful if you have pain in the lower back to just give the knees a little bit of a micro bend. And then coming into the half lift position, reach the chest forward, fingertips touching the floor, and you kind of come into this flattened back. Pull the lower belly in. That also helps to protect the lower back, really pulling in that lower belly. If your front body is engaged, then the back side of your body can relax. The body needs something to kind of hold on to. So really pulling in the lower belly to engage through the core. Exhale, fold forward again, relax the neck. Inhale, now as you come up, keep the knees bent if you have that lower back pain. As you find a straight spine, reach the arms over your head, palms touch, gazing up, exhale, Samasthiti. You have that lower back pain or lower back compression. So that kind of that relieves the lower back compression a little bit. Okay, let's do that one more time and then we'll add on the next part. Inhale, arms over your head, externally rotating through the shoulders. Exhale, fold forward, bend the knees as soon as you need to. And then relax the neck. Inhale, look up, lengthen through the spine, shoulders away from the ears, pull the lower belly in. Exhale, bend the knees a lot so that the palms are flat, and then step back into a plank position. Strong legs, strong core, shoulders away from the ears, lower the knees down to the floor, inhale, and then exhale, bend the elbows to bring the chest all the way down to the floor. Good. We won't break this posture down today because we're going to be focusing on other postures. Now, to come into an upward facing dog, which is the next part of Scar 8, first we'll break it down a little bit. So come into the Sphinx position, where your forearms are on the floor. Yeah, good. And your elbows are directly underneath the shoulders. Good. So, Alexis mentioned that her lower back hurt. There's pain, which probably just means there's compression in the lower back. So if you feel too much pain here, then you can move the elbows forward if that's too much compression. Moving the elbows forward will alleviate some of the compression. Okay, and then here you want to engage the right things and relax the right things. So this is really important in back bending too. You want to engage certain parts of the body and relax other parts of the body to make the posture more efficient. So here, you want to press down to the tops of the feet, so I can't lift the feet, good. And then strong legs, thighs are strong, so then maybe the kneecaps might lift. So your legs are strong and your glute is relaxed. So that'll help to alleviate some of the compression too that's going into the lower back. Relax the glutes and then engage through the lower belly. So pull the lower belly in. Again, engage through the lower belly so you have a strong inner core
so that the muscles in the back can relax. So relaxing all the muscles through the back, and then pressing the shoulders down. Good. Good. And now come down. You can make like a little pillow with your hands. Good. And then if you want, you can kind of shift your hips side to side. Release it a little bit. So notice if you feel like you were just in like a little bit of a back bend, and now you came out of it, and just notice how the body feels after, like the residue of that back bend. We're gonna go into it again and just detail a little bit more. Okay. So back bending is you're bending your back, but really what you're doing is you're stretching the front side of the body. So the front side of the body is lengthening, and the more you can lengthen to the front side of the body, the less compression you'll have on the back side. So now I'm going to detail a way to find to start creating a pattern to find more length through the front side of the body. So come back into the Sphinx position. Good. And we'll come back into strong feet. Yes. Strong legs. Lifting through the kneecaps. Relax. Pull the lower belly in. And now you're going to shoulder you and use that as leverage to push the chest forward and push the rib cage away from the hips. So you press the shoulders down, moving the elbows back and reaching the rib cage forward. And see if you can find that initiates some length through the front side of the torso. Good, it's super active, it takes a lot of energy. So let's take 3 more breaths, or you can come down, 3 more breaths. 1, good. Move the elbows forward a little bit. 2, shifting the elbows back, rib cage forward, strong legs. 3, and come down, make somewhere for your head to rest. So did you feel that a little bit? Cool, good. So you've already noticed there's a lot of pieces at play already for back bending. We have the external rotation of the shoulders, we have strong legs, we have the stretching to the front side of the body, we have the releasing of the compression to the back side of the body. Okay, now we're gonna press back into tabletop and come into downward facing dog. We'll use this as a moment to refocus the mind and come back into the breath. So it's a downward facing dog shape. We're not going to get too crazy about technique here, but making sure the shoulders are externally rotating, another opportunity to establish that pattern in the shoulders. So rolling the shoulders away from the ears, moving the hips back, and then find your breath. Deep inhales and exhales. We'll take 2 more. 4. Long, steady breaths. 5. Inhale, so to walk the feet forward, as close as you can in between the hands. Bend the knees on your way up into the half lift. Flatten the back, pull the lower belly in. Exhale, fold forward and relax the neck. Inhale, arms over your head. Press down through the feet as you reach up, gazing up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good. We'll go through the next one a little bit faster, just to give us another opportunity to integrate those separate techniques that we went over the first time. So inhale, arms over your head, externally rotating to the shoulders. Exhale, fold forward and relax the neck. Inhale into half lift, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, find your plank, strong plank. Inhale, stay in the knees lifted or lower the knees down to the floor. Exhale, slowly bend the elbows, come all the way down. Inhale, now we're going to go into the upward facing dog. So you can either come up halfway, tops of the feet on the floor, lift through the chest. Alexis is going to stay there because she's been having pain in the lower back. If you feel okay, you can straighten the arms all the way to upward facing dog. And exhale, press back into tabletop. Tuck the toes, and back into downward facing dog, connecting with the breath. 1, follow the breath, moving in and out through the nose. 2, spreading the fingers wide and pressing down through the base of the pointer finger. That helps us, and this is going to be helpful in Urdhva Dhanurasana too. Keep pressing down through the base of the pointer finger because that helps us to keep the shoulders externally rotated. So those 2 actions are connected. Pressing down through the base of the pointer finger and externally rotating through the shoulders. Also helps to protect the wrist. So when you lift that part underneath the base of the pointer finger, then we kind of bring too much weight onto the outside of the wrist. Okay, on your next inhale, start to walk the feet forward, in between the hands, into the half lift, letting shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, arms over your head, palms touch, gazing up. Exhale into Samasthiti. Good. So now we'll move into Surya Namaskar B. So for this first part, we start in Utkatasana. We're going to hold Utkatasana for 5 breaths because in Urdhva Dhanurasana, the wheel pose, you need really strong legs. So our foundation is super important. So we're going to hold Utkatasana, the chair pose, to strengthen our legs. 5 breaths. Inhale, bend the knees, sink the hips down, and gaze up. 1. Good, so your hips are going down. 2. Squeeze the knees together, pull the lower belly in. 3. 4. Also externally rotating the shoulders. 5. Exhale, fold forward, relax the neck. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, step back into a plank. Chaturanga Dandasana. Bend the knees, lower the knees, and then bend the elbows. Good. Inhale, upward facing dog, reaching the chest forward, pressing down to the tops of the feet, relaxing the glutes, pull the lower belly in. Exhale, press back into tabletop, and then down into downward facing dog. Okay, now you bring the right foot forward in between the hands, and then lower the back knee. Yeah, good. So we're gonna take a moment here to stretch the front side of our left hip. So you're gonna bend into the right knee until you feel the limit of the openness you have in the front side of the left hip. So like I mentioned, you're gonna be here for a little bit. So find your edge, find stillness, and then find your breath. And like I mentioned before, backbending is front body stretching. So that includes the front side of our hips. So our psoas tend to get super tight, especially since a lot of us are sitting in chairs all day. So when we're like this for a long time, then these muscles kind of start to tighten up. And when we start to lengthen them, it's the opposite of what we're doing normally from sitting in a chair. So backbending really targets the front side of the hips to open them up and make our back bends a little bit more accessible. Good, so if you need a break, like Alexis, straighten your right knee for a second and then she went back in, that's totally fine. This is hard, especially if we're sitting in chairs all day. It's super hard, it can be super uncomfortable. You can also place a blanket underneath the left knee if that's giving you any discomfort. Yeah, or you can also flip take off, yeah. Can like double up the mat. Does that help? A little bit. Okay. Just take a couple more breaths here. If you need to, you can bring the hands down to the floor, or you can have the left hip. Good. Yeah. A little better. So that might help you. Maybe the hand on the floor helps you to relax a little bit, so you can go a little bit deeper into the hip. Good. Do you feel the stretch?
Yes.
She says, definitely feel the stretch. How about you guys? Okay. So now we're going to move into Virabhadrasana. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and lower the back heel. Your legs are strong. Remember, we need to strengthen our legs for Urdhva Dhanurasana. Inhale, lift the chest. Arms over your head. Palms touch. Fix your shorts. Bending to the right knee so you feel the strength in your right leg. Strong legs. Okay, exhale, come down. What'd you say?
There is no strength.
That's why we need to hold it. So the shaking means you're building strength. You're stressing the muscles just enough to start so your body starts creating the muscles. Okay, exhale, bring the hands back down. Step back into a plank. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend the elbows and slowly lower down. Good. Inhale, upward facing dog or halfway. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, same thing on the other side. Left foot forward. Lower the back knee. Start to find that lunge position. The hands on the floor or the hands on the knees. Good. And this is it's a really easy way to gauge how deep you're going, because if you want to go deeper, you just bend more into the left knee, and if you want to ease up a little bit, you start to straighten that left knee a little bit. Good. Do you want me to bring you like a blanket or something?
No, this one's fine. It's just my left knee that's messed up.
Okay. Good. So remember, find your edge. Find stillness, and then find your breath. So the breath is super helpful in these moments when you start to feel really uncomfortable. So use the breath to kind of relax in that discomfort. Use the breath to bring you into the body instead of running away from the body. Good. And if you feel like your breath is just getting out of control, then that might mean that you're going too deep. So don't go beyond your limit, where it's completely impossible to find stillness. Find somewhere that's just the right amount of discomfort that you can stay present with. And the more you do this, the more your limit will get further and further. Good. A few more breaths here. I'm going to take breaks if you need to, and then just go right back into it. Good. Make sure you're not bringing the tension into the shoulders. Relax the shoulders. This is also helpful for any lower back pain that you might experience. You stretch the front side to alleviate the back side. So sometimes, when we have these pains and stuff, the solution isn't directly in that area. Maybe the solution is working in different parts of our bodies. Okay, bring the hands back down to the floor, tuck the back toes, lift the knee, lower the back heel, inhale, lift the chest, bend into the left knee, lift the arms over your head, take a couple breaths here, keep bending into the left knee, strengthening the legs. And then exhale, bring the hands down. Inhale, find your plank, lower the knees. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, bend the elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog, halfway or all the way, shoulders away from the ears. Good. Exhale, tabletop, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Come into the breath. 1, 2, 3, strong legs. 4, 5. Inhale, walk up to the top, into the half lift. Lengthen shoulders away. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, arms over your head. Bend the knees, lift the chest. Let's hold it for 3 breaths. 1, squeeze the knees together, sink the hips down. 2, externally rotating through the shoulders. 3, exhale, Samasthiti. Good. Now, let's go down to the floor. So we'll just do 1 Surya Namaskar and go straight down to the floor. Inhale. Maybe I got disconnected for a second, but we're back. Inhale, arms over your head. Let's do 1 more posture standing. Step the right foot back out to the side. Feet parallel to each other. And interlace your fingers behind the back. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. So we need flexible shoulders to be able to bring the arms over your head and come into that back bend. So we're going to stretch the shoulders. 1, move the shoulders away from the hips. 2, straighten the arms as much as you can. 3, good. 4, relax the neck, relax the shoulders. 5, inhale, come all the way up. Exhale at the top. Good. Come back to the top of the mat. Inhale, the arms over your head. Palms touch. Exhale, fold forward, hands to the mat. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, step back into a plank. Strong plank. Strong legs, strong core. Lower the knees, inhale. Exhale, slowly lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Okay, now jump through to seated, or just make your way to a comfortable seated position. You can lower the knees down, send the hips back. She'll show you the jump through position. And send the legs forward. Good. Okay. So let's start doing some back bending postures little by little. So we'll start with Urdhva Dhanurasana. So slide the hands behind the hips, about 6 inches away from the hips. So you want to spread your fingers and really make sure you're pressing down to the base of the pointer finger. Okay, now you're going to keep the feet together. So the legs are internally rotating when you're back bending. When you back bend, internally rotate through the legs. For you, what that just means is keep the feet together. We're going to lift up into a reverse plank. So don't let the feet come out and come into this external rotation through the legs. So you're going to inhale, press into the hands, lift up through the chest, and then lift the hips up towards the ceiling and drop the head back. I'll help you. 1, lift up. Good. 2, keep the feet together, point the feet. 3, 4, 5, exhale, come down. Good. So a modification for that would have been to bend the knees and plant the feet. Let's try it one more time. So you can do the modification if you need to, or you can keep the legs straight. So bend the knees, plant the feet, hip width distance apart. So you're going to come into a reverse tabletop instead. Press into the hands, inhale, lift the hips up. 1, use the strength of your legs to lift the hips. 2, 3, roll the shoulders forward. 4, 5, exhale, come down. Good. Your shoulders are, she has tight shoulders. So we'll see how Urdhva Dhanurasana comes along. Okay. So now, we're going to do one more seated posture and then go into the actual posture. So come onto your back. You can do a jump through if you know how to jump through. Or you can, lay up to your stomach. Oh, I'm sorry. So you can come into a plank and then lower all the way down to your stomach. Okay. Now, you're going to prop your chest up so you're back into like the Sphinx position. Good. And now you can you're going to lift the back, bend the right knee. So you can kind of bend the right knee and see if you can catch the foot. Good. Catch the foot. Good. And I'll start kicking the foot into the hand. So you start to engage through the leg and you start to lift the chest up. Good, so kick. So you're pressing the hand, the foot are pressing up against each other to create tension to lift the chest up. 3, 2, 1. And release that to the other side. Remember to keep the butt relaxed. Good. 3, strong line. Press into the hand. 2, 1. And release it. Good, so that's the strength part. Now let's try to find the release part again through the front side of the hip. So you're going to catch the foot on the inside of the foot. What? Catch the inside of the foot, yes. And then see how much you can bring that foot down towards the side of your hip. So I'm going to really do it because I'm really flexible, but it doesn't have to go that deep. Yeah. Good. Good. So now you're releasing. Are you okay?
You're hurting me.
It's hard. Good. So now you're releasing and you're releasing and you're stretching the front side of the hip. Good. 3, 2, good. That's pretty good. 1, and release it. Other side. I'm gonna have no knees looking at this. Catch on the inside of the foot and then push the foot down next to the hip. 3, 2, 1, and release it. So now we're going to do Dhanurasana. So Dhanurasana just means bow pose. So, and then Urdhva Dhanurasana, Urdhva means upward. So we're just going to do the bow pose from here. So you're going to see if you can catch both feet. Now, bend your knees, and then catch both feet, and then lift the chest. So now you're going to kick the feet into the hands and use that to lift the chest off of the floor. 1, good. If it's possible, you bring the feet together. 2, keep kicking, keep kicking, keep kicking, keep kicking. 1, exhale, come down. Okay. Press back into child's pose. Now release the spine here for a second. Good, so child's pose is really good release after back bending, so it releases the lower back and the kind of the glutes, the glute muscles. Good. I'll give you some. I'll give you some love, not just work. Okay. So now make your way lying on your back. We're going to give the Urdhva Dhanurasana posture a try.
I don't know what I just did there.
That's creative. You can do Vinyasa if you want to. Now just make your way to lie down on your back. Good. So remember, now we're putting everything together. So bend the knees, plant the feet in front of your hips. Okay, we're gonna break this down little by little. So the feet come as close as you can to the hips. So good. So they can actually be a little bit further so that we don't go so deep right away. And you want the feet parallel to each other. So the feet are probably gonna want to turn out. Try to resist that as much as possible and keep the feet parallel to each other and hip width distance apart. So you can actually move them apart a little bit more. Yeah, good. And you want to keep the knees also moving in towards the center. The knees are going to want to splay out to the side. Remember, you want to keep the internal rotation through the legs. Okay, if you don't understand that, that's a little bit more of an advanced concept, but just try to keep the knees moving in. Yeah, once you start to go up. And then you're going to bring the hands next to the ears. Yeah, so they can be a little bit further out. They don't need to be right next to the ears. Yeah, the fingertips are pointing towards the shoulders, and you want to press down to the base of the pointer finger. So notice how already that part wants to kind of lift up. That's usually a sign of tightness in the shoulders. So press down through the base of the pointer finger. And then here the elbows also want to move in. And notice, if you can, this is a little bit more complex too, how this is bringing the shoulders into external rotation, which we really worked to establish in the beginning of the class. Okay, now you're going to press into the hands and just come to the top of the head. We're not lifting up yet, just the top of the head. Good. If you feel like your hands are too close, you can separate the hands a little bit again. Come down if you need to. Good. It's hard. So just coming to the top of the head and then repositioning yourself again. Elbows in towards the center, keep coming into the external rotation. Press down through the base of the pointer finger. Okay. Inhale, top of the head. Elbows in, elbows in. Okay, now if you can, you straighten the arms. It's okay. This is a hard posture. So if you need a modification, you can always just stay at the top of the head. Or you can just work on the lower part of the bottom half of Urdhva Dhanurasana and just do bridge pose. You want to show bridge pose as a modification? I mean, yeah, bridge pose, where your hands are next to your hips and you just lift the hips. So this is kind of just working with the bottom half of Urdhva Dhanurasana. If your shoulders aren't quite prepared, shoulders prepared as in flexibility and strength. So, okay. Let's try it again. Let's try the Urdhva Dhanurasana. If you just want to work with bridge pose where you're only lifting the hips, that's totally okay too. Good. So you're here. Remember, you could just put the top of the head on the mat. And that can be Urdhva Dhanurasana too. Top of the head, reposition, base of the, good. So pressing down to the base of the point, breathe. Remember, slow, steady breaths is really important. So she got up there and she was in a really hard place, so she stopped breathing. That's normal. I think that's like we develop that reaction to difficult things and holding our breaths. So in yoga, we want to kind of like bypass that reaction and change that to one that's breathing and coming into our bodies and coming into the present moment. Good. So let's try it again. Let's all try it again, wherever you are. And let's just try to hold it for 3 breaths. Maybe you can do it, maybe you've already been holding it for as many times as possible, but if this is a little bit more difficult for you, let's try to find the full expression, or whatever that full expression means to you, and we're gonna hold it for 3 breaths. So really come into the breath and find that long, steady inhale and exhale. So you're gonna bring the elbows together, come to the top of the head, take a deep breath in, exhale, tuck the chin, come all the way down. Good. That was really good. How'd it go? How?
That was really good. Okay. You want to try one more time or you're done? Okay, bring the knees into the chest. If you want to try one more time, you can. That was really good. That was really hard for her. So doing those 3 breaths for her was a lot. Good. So this helps to release the back. Good. Rock up to seated. And we're just going to do one more stretch that helps us to get deeper into our back bends and just to help us and just to kind of close off the back bending practice. It's something that helps us get into the upper spine. So it's really useful in back bending to use the entire spine, not just bend into the lower back, but use the upper back as well, which is a little bit harder to access, but this posture will help us to start opening through the upper spine a little bit more. Okay, so come into tabletop. So you've done this one before. It's the puppy pose. Good. So first you can come down to your elbows and bring the forehead to the mat. Good. So your elbows are on the floor. Yeah, this helps to stretch through the shoulders. The shoulders are externally rotating, and then stretch to the upper back. You start to notice how the shoulder flexibility and the upper back flexibility are kind of connected. Good, just sink into it. So if it's too much, you could always put the head on a block or something if you feel really uncomfortable with the head. Or you can move the elbows closer to the knees. They don't need to be that far apart. And then you can also straighten the arms in front of you with the palms down. And then as you go deeper, then maybe you start to shift the chin to the floor instead of the forehead to the floor. Oh. Yeah. If you're not ready with the flexibility for the chin on the floor, then it might feel like too much straining the neck. So the chin comes to the floor when the chest is so open that the chin kind of just naturally ends up there. Right, take a few more breaths here. Try to find stillness, and then find your breath. Good. And then come back into downward facing dog, so moving through tabletop. Good. And then we'll just move into a seated position. So straighten the legs, however you want to get there. I'm not really breaking down jumping through in this class, so straighten the legs. And then we'll just take a gentle forward fold. So this is a good release and counter pose for back bending. So just fold over the legs, releasing through the lower back, releasing through the spine. If you can catch the feet, catch the feet. If not, you can just rest the hands alongside the legs. If you need to place something underneath the knees because maybe the knees are hurting or the knees are, or you don't have so much flexibility in the hamstrings, you can place like a pillow or a bolster or something underneath the knees to support that. You can also sit on top of a bolster or a pillow to elevate the hips and find more rotation in the pelvis to go deeper into the hamstrings. Okay, let's take 5 more breaths here. 1, relax through the neck. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, start to come out of it. Good. And then if you'd like to take a vinyasa, you can take a vinyasa here, which is, we didn't really cover in this class, but Alexis is going to show you as you move through tabletop into plank, and then you move through chaturanga dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog, exhale into downward facing dog, and then make your way back into a seated position. Good. Good. So find a comfortable seated position. We are going to finish off with the last 3 postures in the Ashtanga Yoga sequence, which I like to close all of my classes with because I think it's a really nice way to close the practice. And then I'll also throw in some pranayama, some more breathing exercises to help us soothe the nervous system after that back bending practice. So first, wrap the arms behind the back, grab onto opposite elbows or opposite forearms. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, fold forward, bringing the forehead or the chin towards the mat.
You can place the head on the block if you're not quite reaching to help you further relax. 1, slowing down the breath, coming into the breath. 2, taking deep breaths. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, come up. Release the arms and bring the wrist towards the knees and the pointer towards the thumb. And then straightening and bringing together the other 3 fingers in each hand. Good. Lengthen the spine, tuck the chin. Take 10 slow, steady breaths here. 1, 2, following the breath, all the way through the inhale, all the way through the exhale. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, keep following the breath. 8, 9, 10. Release that. We'll do Nadi Shodhana, which is alternate nostril breathing. You're going to bring your left hand to your knee, and then the right hand, you're going to bring down the pointer and the middle finger. Okay? This is kind of a hard mudra to make. Good. So your thumb is out, and your ring finger and pinky are out. Okay, so now we're going to use the right thumb to close the right nostril, and then the ring finger to close the left nostril. Good. Sometimes, you can put the pointer and the middle finger up here between the eyebrows, and then keep using the right thumb to close the right nostril, and the right ring finger to close the left nostril, or you can bring those 2 fingers down, whatever is more comfortable. So just take a moment here to kind of get used to that, switching with the right thumb and the ring finger from each nostril. Good. And then I'm going to tell you when to use which one and when to breathe in out of which nostril. Okay. So take a deep breath in with both. Prepare your mudra. Exhale through both. You're going to close the right nostril with the right thumb and inhale through the left nostril. Switch. Close the left nostril. Exhale through the right. Again, inhale through the left. Switch over. Switch. Exhale through the right. Same thing. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale left. Exhale right. Now you're going to stay on this side. Keep the left nostril closed. Inhale right. Switch. Exhale left. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale right.
Exhale out. Last one, inhale right. Exhale out. Bring both hands to the knees. And just settle into the residue of that practice for a moment. It's really good for settling the nervous system and coming into the relaxation response. Okay, gently open the eyes if they were closed. We'll do one last posture, one last effort, Uputihi. So bring the knees in close towards the chest. She's looking at me because she knows it's hard, but it's a good way to just finish the practice and just squeeze that last juice you got, yeah? Which is gonna give you more juice, ultimately. Bring the knees close to the chest. The feet can stay on the floor. You're gonna bring the hands in front of the hips. So somewhere along the midline of the thighs. You're gonna shift forward, bring the weight into the hands, shoulders forward, and the hips are gonna move back and up. Lift the hips off the floor. 1, pressing into the shoulders. 2, 3, breathing. 4, looking forward. 5, 6, lift the feet a little bit if you can. 7, maybe one foot at a time. 8, and then switch feet. 9, and then both feet. 10, exhale, calm down. Good. And then now you can find your way to Shavasana, lying on your back for the final resting pose. Good job. All right. So lying down on your back, bringing the palms facing up, closing the eyes. Now we're not controlling the breath anymore, allowing the breath to be natural. And relaxing the whole body down into the mat. So scanning the body and just finding any spaces you still feel tension. If you find a place where you're holding on to any tension, breathe into that space with the inhale. And then feel the tension being released on the exhale. So use the inhale to send your intention somewhere in the body. And then use the exhale to release. Relax. Relaxing the body, the nervous system. And just watching the natural breath spontaneously move in and out through the nose. Start to deepen the breath. And slowly start to wake up the body. Moving the fingers, the toes. Rocking the head side to side. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And exhaling through the mouth. Feel free to sigh if you need to. Again, deep breath in through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Good. One more. Deep breath in. And exhale. Bring the knees into the chest. Coming over to the right side of the body. Gracefully. And gently coming back into seated position. Take your time. Whenever you get there, you can bring the hands to the knees and gently close the eyes. And settle here for a moment into the body, into the breath. Use these things as an anchor to bring you back into the present moment at any time. While you're back bending, and doing something difficult on the mat, but also in your everyday life. When something difficult comes up, just to come back into yourself. Take a moment here. One last time before you move on with the rest of your day. Feeling the body, feeling the breath. Coming into the stillness inside, the silence inside. Bring the palms together. The eyes closed. We'll take one final Om together. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you for joining me virtually. Thank you for joining me in real life. I hope that was useful. This was, as you can imagine, just like a very, very big overview of everything that's happening in backbending. We can get a lot more detailed and a lot more specific, which I'll actually be doing. I have a virtual backbending workshop coming up on May 23rd. It'll be 2 hours and we'll just focus on different tools and different things that we can bring together to go deeper into our backbending practice in a transformative and a safe way. So if you're interested in joining me in that, you can find the details on my website, which is included in the description of this video. Also, if you're interested in donating anything for this class, if you have the means, then I also left my Venmo and my PayPal account details in the description. It's totally optional. I'm super happy to offer these classes for free, especially for those who are going through any financial difficulties during this time. But if you would like to donate, I have those details there. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them now, or just reach out to me separately. I would love to connect with you. Since I can't see you, you can see me, but I can't see you. Let me know how else I can help. Or if there's any other suggestions you have for these classes, something you want me to break down, something you want me to focus on, I would be super happy to take any suggestions or any recommendations. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Happy Mother's Day for all the mothers out there. Namaste. And cut. That's why we can't cut. I know. All right. I'll stay on for a little bit in case anybody has questions. All right, signing off.